Now some news first reported by VOA. A U.S. defense spokesman says the department has begun surveying 2 military installations in the United States as potential places to hold detainees currently imprisoned at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Surveyors have started work at Leavenworth, Kansas, and plan to start surveying an installation in Charleston, South Carolina soon. But before moving the detainees, the military needs to clear a major hurdle. VOA's Carla Babb explains.
Clear! Years after President Barack Obama vowed to close it, the U.S. detention facility at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, still holds 116 prisoners captured during what the previous administration called the War on Terror. Officials say a Pentagon plan to close this prison will be handed to Congress after the congressional recess ends later this month. The State Department also remains committed to shutting it down.
This president couldn't have been clearer from day one, as I said, that he wanted to close Guantanamo Bay. Believes it's in our national security interests, and that remains a huge priority for this administration.
Some of the detainees are eligible for transfer to other countries, but legal analysts say any plan to keep the remainder somewhere in the United States has a major problem.
Congress has slammed the door on virtually any means to move individuals out of Guantanamo to the U.S.
Current laws prevent sending any of the detainees to facilities within the United States. But for the dozens deemed too dangerous to free and others ineligible for transfer, sending them all to a prison in an allied country also seems unlikely.
What allied state is going to be willing to take on our nightmare? I doubt if anyone would be able to do it, would be willing to do it.
With news of the military's site surveys, it seems the Pentagon is hedging its bets on nudging Congress to change the law. Until then, the Guantanamo facility remains open.
Good.
But of course, for a prison, that means the gates stay closed. Carla Babb, VOA News, the Pentagon.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry visited the reopened U.S. Embassy in Cuba Friday to salute the American flag as it was raised again in Havana, ceremonially ending the 50-year gap in relations between the United States and its island neighbor off the southern coast of Florida. Mr. Kerry is the first U.S. Secretary of State to visit Cuba since 1945. He was accompanied to Cuba by some members of Congress and 3 elderly U.S. Marines, now retired, who lowered the flag for the last time in Havana in January of 1961. The crowd stood as both countries' anthems were played during the ceremony. Before the flag was raised, Secretary Kerry addressed an audience of officials from both government and a large crowd of onlookers on the sun-drenched day in the Cuban capital. He said President Obama and President Castro made a courageous decision to stop being prisoners of history and to focus on the opportunities of today and tomorrow. He also looked toward the future.
And I feel at home here because this is truly a memorable occasion. A day for pushing aside old barriers and exploring new possibilities.